Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Welcome, dear listeners, to a tale of twisted romance where the heart may flutter, but the knife always finds its mark. That's right, tonight's episode's theme is all about relationships and horror, and in honor of the theme, we'll be reviewing Neon's latest horror film, Together.
Drac and I have been movie-going monsters lately. I mean, we see movies like, oh my God, I'm going to say like four nights a week.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm kind of loving it. I'm definitely like unapologetic about it.
Thanks, Satan, for that infinity pass.
I know. We were at this isn't the first time we did this. We went to see a movie and we found the people around us so annoying within like 10 minutes. We're like, let's just leave. We'll come back tomorrow. And we did.
We have this pass where you can see as many movies as you want for a year, and we use and abuse her regularly.
I couldn't believe it. And the price was so good. I'm like, okay, we made our money back in like a weekend.
Literally. Yeah. And it's so easy. We used to go to watch movies with our friends all the time, and at the Egyptian theater or the Chinese theater or whatever. And now I'm like, this is just right there. I'm going to go there.
Well, it's also like an hour drive. It's a nightmare to park. It's very $90 experience, which is fine sometimes if you have good friends, but it's so much easier to just mosey to our local where we have Infinity Pass and sit down every night of the week. It's awesome. I love it.
Before we get started, I want to remind people to get your tickets to the Dragula 666 tour. And also, we want you to tell us what songs you want us to perform, because we are going to be performing some of our music live on the tour. So let us know what you would like to hear.
And let us know real fast, because the tour is in less than 3 weeks and we've got some rehearsing to do.
All right, so let's get into this episode's theme. My first question for you is, what are your 3 favorite relationships from the horror genre?
Oh, that is so huge. And there's so many different kinds of relationships because they don't necessarily have to be romantic relationships. I'm assuming that's what you mean.
Whatever it may mean to you.
Me, whatever speaks to me.
What speaks to you?
What speaks to me are baby vampires, because my first couple is from an amazing foreign vampire film called Let the Right One In, and it's Oscar and Ellie. It's young love. They're only like 12 years old. And I love it because you have this relationship between like a sensitive human and a literal monster. And that monster is kind of ambiguous in the gender department. Ellie is kind of a neutral name. It even says in the description they identify as female, but there's no solid exclamation of this person's gender or their orientation or whatever. And it doesn't even matter. And that's why I kind of love it.
All right. I didn't remember too much. I remember loving that film, but I've completely forgotten what it's about.
Oh, wow.
But the vampire is not actually a little kid. He was just a kid when he was turned, right?
Yeah. I mean, the vampire, she identifies as female. So she's 12-ish, but she's been around for decades. So
Gotcha.
She's in the body of a child, but she's much older than that.
Okay. So my first couple is from the movie Legend, and it's Darkness and Lily. If you haven't seen the movie Legend, you definitely need to go back and watch it. It's one of my favorite movies, certainly my favorite fantasy movie. And there was something so beautiful and magical about the way they came together and her embracing her dark side. I think it would really speak to our listeners.
I agree.
I don't understand why she fought it so hard.
Yeah, but that's my favorite part about her character, Mia Farrow, right? Yeah. It's when she lashes out against the darkness. Like she had already embraced it and she did the dress dance, but then she like kind of ferociously repels him. And I thought that was so cool to see like this beautiful woman being so powerful against the literal devil.
Yeah, I'm just like, you already hooked up with Tom Cruise. You guys have been hooking up and bringing unicorns to life and, doing all your stuff. Now you can go be the evil queen. I mean, it's covered in food and he's huge and jacked and you have this beautiful mansion and this gown. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Food, muscles, mansion. Got it. Jack, you just exposed yourself.
But there's a little secret from that movie that people probably don't know, and
what's
that is that your inner self is Una.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're exposing me like that.
I am. You are Una from Legend.
I'll take it. I love that movie too. That's like one of my favorite movies too, fantasy or otherwise.
I'm glad you didn't say that I was Meg Mucklebones.
No, but Meg Mucklebones gives. Like, oh my God, she's
I do.
Amazing.
All right. Your next relationship?
Yes, my next relationship that I'd like to shine a little dark spotlight onto. It's from the Addams family, but it's not Morticia and Gomez.
Grandmama?
No, don't go there. Don't get ahead of yourself. Of course, Morticia and Gomez are the literal iconic couple from horror. I mean, period. You can't shake a stick at that. But I'm talking about Uncle Fester and Debbie.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. I mean, this was a relationship that you loved. I mean, it was just so fun. I mean, Debbie as a character is genius.
Debbie is fabulous. I wish they had kept her around in the family after they electrocuted her or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't forget there was also cousin It and She It, which I guess is short for shit.
Oh my God. No, he dated that kind of housewife.
That granny.
The granny kind of old maid housewife lady, and then they had those little It babies.
Not like an old maid in shoes.
Woo.
Okay.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2, or my second couple, is Countess Elizabeth and Ilona from Daughters of Darkness.
Another great one. Oh God. And this was a movie that Drac and I came upon kind of later in our relationship. This was a horror movie that we hadn't seen till more recent years. And when we watched it, I was like, we must be tapping the same psychic vein as this creator, because the hair, some of the literal just straight up costumes that they wear could be right in our closet.
Absolutely. And the characterization of the two of them, I feel like, is very reflective of us.
Yeah.
And except at a certain point, the one thing I didn't like about that movie is that I always thought Ilona was just a second, powerful vampire. They were just together,
Yeah.
But I started to get lost with what her role was towards the end. It was almost like Elizabeth was trying to replace her or something, which I didn't like that part.
No, I know. And if you're trying to paint me into the Ilona portrait, I don't like that part either.
Only in that you're youthful, flirty kind of. You know what I mean? You have that more energy.
I know you're not trying to be shady. But I do agree with you, because there was a little bit of ambiguity about her motivation throughout that movie. She seemed like she was listless and almost depressed and wanted to die or get away, or she may even wanted to be replaced.
Right. Yeah. Didn't she say literally, I want to die?
I wish I could die.
There you go. And your third choice?
My third choice. I do have an honorable mention though.
Okay.
Which is Carrie White and Tommy Ross. They're not necessarily a couple, but when I first saw Carrie as a child, there are so many things about that movie kind of thematically that I think really speak to someone who's an outcast or doesn't necessarily fit in. And when Carrie White had Tommy Ross at the prom, just for that one fleeting moment before the horror and before the bloodbath, my heartstrings got pulled. I really kind of felt their relationship.
And that's your honorable mention?
That's my honorable mention.
So you actually have 4, not 3.
I have 3 and an honorable mention.
What's your
That's
third?
how I choose. But my third is a love triangle. And this is
from the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titan season 1?
not that love triangle, although that is an iconic, legendary love triangle from the world of horror. I'm talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's Mina, Jonathan Harker, and Count Dracula.
Oh.
This is a time-spanning love triangle, mixed tragedy, obsession. It's brought to vampiric heights. I love it.
That's a great choice.
Thank
you.
Classic
choice.
Yeah, for sure. Even though I really can't stand Keanu Reeves in that movie and he kind of ruins it for me, but I just love everything else about it so much that I overlook it.
Well, I think the rest of the movie's so powerful that he can't ruin it. That's how I see it.
She tried it, but she failed.
He is a little cringy on screen. Okay, my third, and I'm going to also have an honorable mention too because I will not be outdone.
Okay.
My number 3 is Bill and Frank from The Last of Us.
Oh, wow. That's an obscure choice.
It's an obscure choice, but it's one that really stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen queer people represented like that in the horror genre or any film, honestly.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very realistic portrayal of 2 gay men, and I thought it was brilliant.
I agree. And I think it gagged like half of middle America. And I love the creator for that. Not of just the game, but of the show, because they stayed so true to what that relationship looked like. And I think it really shook people's preconceived notions about what a relationship between 2 men would be like.
You know what else shook people about that series? When they killed Pedro Pascal and put MX Potato Day as the lead.
I know. I was gagged. I did not know that was coming.
All right. So my honorable mention.
Wait, your
little,
fourth choice.
Yes. To go along with your fourth choice is Big John and Little John from Halloween Kills. I don't know if you remember these characters. It's 2 gay men that bought the Myers house and they redid it and they lived there. And it was really interesting. For a hot minute, you almost thought that Michael Myers was going to be gay. The way that he interacted with them was very strange. The way they interacted with him was very strange. And I just remember it being like they weren't exploited. It was interesting. It was an interesting, realistic portrayal of 2 gay men. I liked it.
I don't remember those characters. That's a deep cut.
Well, thankfully, I'm here to watch all 3 of them with you all over again. And we'll start tonight.
I'm in. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
All right, we are back, and it's time to dig into our review of the new Neon film Together. This is directed and written by Michael Shanks, marking his feature directorial debut. Mm-hmm. You want to give the listeners a quick description of what this film is?
I'll go ahead and read it right from the script. In this darkly funny and grotesque body horror film, a couple's on the verge of breaking up moves to a remote countryside in hopes of saving their relationship. But after an eerie encounter in a mysterious cave, they begin to fuse together, literally, as their bodies and identities slowly merge. They're forced to confront codependency, sacrifice, and the terrifying ideas of becoming one forever. And it's starring a real life couple, Dave Franco and Alison Brie, which I think adds a whole new layer of coolness to this movie and how their relationship is portrayed.
I agree. So how did you feel overall about this film?
It made me uncomfortable. It managed to achieve something that I don't think a lot of horror movies that I've seen manage to achieve, where it's that moment where my eyes kind of get large and the hair on the back of my neck goes up because I don't know what I'm about to see. Mm-hmm. And there were a few moments of like huge tension like that and a reveal that delivered. Like I thought it was really cool.
I enjoyed it too for a couple of reasons. One, this is maybe the first example of an allegory that I actually appreciated because it was all about them being a couple. And in the beginning, the character Millie proposed to Tim, and he didn't seem like he was into it at first. He was definitely pulling back as she was pulling in. And I think the idea of them physically merging had a lot to do with the concept of losing your individuality when you get in a relationship and all the sort of all that sort of stuff. So
absolutely, yeah.
I enjoy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and then her brother mentioned like, oh, I thought when you and my sister got together, you would make her cooler, but actually. And he's like, fuck you, man, because he sees where he's going. Right. And then he's like, well, look, when I die, I don't want someone else's life to flash before my eyes. And it just told you, it just like completely transmitted the idea he lives for her. Her preferences are in her career is bringing them away from the city. And there's a lot of insecurity that goes with that.
Yeah.
By merging.
Yeah. So, I like the allegory there. I also thought that it kept my attention. It didn't lose me. It definitely got a little substance campy at the end, but, how else could you do it, right?
Yeah. And they were literally borrowing from, I don't know if that's a biblical myth. I think they presented it as a biblical myth, certainly a spiritual myth, where you have your other body sort of like out there, multiple heads, multiple arms, multiple appendages. And they literally go there, which was kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think was happening at first? Because at first I wasn't sure. The dogs went into that cave and they drank from the water, and then I couldn't tell in that scene of the dogs. I just remember it being horrifying, but I couldn't exactly tell what was going on.
Yeah, for a minute I thought something was in that well, that alien looking well, because you get this POV shot like through the water and through the surface, and the dogs like kind of lapping and drinking at the surface.
Yeah.
And it felt like you were looking through the eyes of something down in there.
So did they ever really say how, like, I understand there was a cult and their belief was that you should merge with one another and all that, but did they ever explain how the well was tied into that?
No, this was like one of those stories where they never explained it all out. You didn't get a huge step by step as to what happened and why, but I was not bothered by that. Did you?
I wasn't either.
Yeah, it didn't even skip a beat. It wasn't important. What was important was what was happening to this couple and their relationships now, not how they got to this like crazy place. There's a line in there somewhere right before Tim dips his kind of drinking flask into the well and they start consuming the water that eventually leads to their fusion, where she's like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. And they mention this, a thirst, like throughout the movie. And I wonder if that thirst is like to feel whole, right? Like looking for your other half, your twin flame, your, intended, right? Like,
right.
And the water, it's a literal manifestation of the idea.
Yeah. I mean, potentially, What did you think of their chemistry on screens, considering they're actually married in real life?
I mean, honestly, when we watched it, I did not know that they were a couple. And now it kind of blows me away because I really believed, Dave Franco was a completely insecure little kid, basically.
Right.
And his partner basically made him feel inferior and overrode like even her being the one to ask him to marry in front of everyone. It just seemed like emasculating a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of went against the grain of like what everyone's expectation is.
Yeah. And they kept saying how she had a job and he was a loser.
And he couldn't even drive. And he's like a musician, like kind of aimless. Like it was it was presented as a very uneven relationship.
Yeah.
And I completely bought it. And now to know that they're a couple, it kind of gags me. Like I think it speaks to their skills and their artistry as actors.
Either that or he's really just not that into her.
Oh my God.
In real life.
It seems so real.
Right? Wow, you're really playing up that you detest me. I mean, I'm believing you.
Yeah.
So, influences. This is obviously a nod to Cronenberg, The Thing, all these sort of things. And it had a lot of practical effects. What did you think of the effects and the whole, makeup of it all?
I thought the dogs were a little campy. I mean, you only see it for like a flash second. I thought that could have been done a little bit better.
Maybe that's why you only saw it for half a second.
Yeah, but I thought maybe that was one of those moments where I said a lot of tension build and then it delivers. I'm not sure if that moment delivered. It did have a lot of power and it's right at the beginning. I even looked over to you and I'm like, are we in the right movie? Because it almost seemed like, right? It felt like a science fiction movie or something. And maybe it kind of was a little bit of science fiction in there.
A bit. I mean, it's certainly body horror, which I think, makes it science fiction horror, I think.
Yeah. And then the whole idea when they first, no, it's not when they first do it. Because when they first do it, they do it through a kiss and their lips kind of like stick together. And then they have sex and they can't really pull apart. And then their arms actually fuse.
Yeah.
And then we get the Sawzall moment,
Right.
which is something like I've never seen that in a horror movie before.
What?
Not like, of course, we've seen Art the Clown like saw people right down the middle and bisect them in half, but I've never seen a scenario where anyone is going to inflict that kind of harm on themselves, like willingly, and even with someone else that they love, like to do it to both of them. I don't know. I thought that kind of posed like almost like a psychological situation for me.
What about, does it remind you of the scene when the trucker in Chainsaw Massacre throws the monkey wrench and hits Leatherface in the head and he falls down and his saw goes into his leg?
I didn't quite think of that. I wouldn't categorize that as the willing part.
That is so on my brain for reasons that people will find out later. But oh my God, that whole segment, broken down scene by scene, shot by shot, is burned into my brain. Anyways,
so what did you think of the effects? We didn't really talk about that much because they were impressive.
They were impressive. I mean, I don't know how you could have done that better, showing the two arms going into each other. Parts of it made me uncomfortable and parts of it made me chuckle. So I think some of it was successful, but not all of it.
There was humor in this, though.
There was.
Even though it was like somber and kind of depressing and definitely culty and a little weird, like it was funny underneath.
Yeah, it's true. And what did you think of the ending?
I appreciated it. I know the ending has a mixed review. Like when I read and see what other people thought of this, some people it pissed them off, or they thought it made the story a little bit obtuse and like hard to kind of piece together. But I thought it was quite satisfying to actually see the literal fusion.
Me too.
Yeah, and you did too, right?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like it didn't leave you guessing, and that's what you wanted to see when they started, getting sucked together. You were like, oh, I want to see what the outcome of this is.
Yeah, because, before the door opened, because the scene is, and someone said it in the comments, they were like, I really love the podcast and I love listening, but I hate the spoilers because I'm a broke bitch and I can't go see these movies. And I'm like, sorry to you, sweetheart, because we like spoilers. So at the very end, Millie's parents are coming for a visit and they pull up and you see their, kind of like, boomer kind of shoes hit the gravel and there's suburban outfits. And then there's like blood in the driveway. It's kind of a cool moment. And then you hear the footsteps and I was like, who's going to answer the door? Because what I would assume was one of them would have kind of overridden the other.
Oh, okay.
And I thought just because of their characters and the way that the movie was like portrayed, that it would be the girl and she would have absorbed him.
Right.
And it would just appear like her, but her psychological makeup would be a fusion of the two of them.
Yeah.
And she would be probably weird to talk to from a parental perspective. But to see them fused like a half, like a 50% genetic split and have it be androgynous and kind of a little alien, I thought, and then it's over, like really satisfying.
What do you think how do you think they would have reacted to that? Just going off on a random whim here.
I mean, I did let my mind run down that rabbit hole for a hot second when we were leaving the theater. Maybe she would have played it off like, oh, you're in the wrong place. Like,
oh, like you didn't think it looked enough like her that they would recognize
did you?
It's her?
I didn't think so.
I saw her in the face, but it looked like it was like her lesbian sister or cousin or something.
That's the kind of shit that could like make you lose your mind, right? Like if you're going there to see your child and they look like, almost like they could be your child's child or something, but fast forwarded to an adult. I don't know. Weird.
Very weird. Anyways, I would recommend definitely going to see this movie. I'm going to give it 7 claws up.
I'm also going to give it 7 claws up. I thought it was really entertaining and a surprise. Like I would absolutely recommend going to see together.
Me too. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, rather than answering your listener questions, we're going to give you our best relationship advice. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Uglies, and it's time, a very special moment here on Creatures of the Night, where we are going to impart unto you our little gems of relationship advice.
I would say this is one of the questions we get asked the most. Would you say that? Like, what is our relationship advice and that sort of thing?
I think so.
The other one is, what lipstick do we use?
Yeah.
That's another one.
Mm-hmm. Are you really brothers? That was one for a long time.
Sorta. Yeah, so I think it's a fun episode that we can throw out our relationship advice to those who have been asking.
I kind of like this format too, just like going off of the movie review, like thematically. And I think relationships are kind of interesting because they span the horror world, so many other genres, but it's something that everyone can relate to.
So what's your first piece of advice?
My first piece of relationship advice is this. If something needs to change in your relationship, change yourself. Don't try to change the other person. Stick to what you can control, the way you behave, and the way you respond. I think if you're looking to point your finger or force or wish someone else to be different, that is a red flag.
It's good advice. That's true. My first piece of advice is, so many people tell us they have a hard time finding a partner. And I think the first step to take to finding a partner is throw out the idea of type, right? So like when you go on these online dating things and you can select, I want someone with brown eyes who has this amount of money and, this kind of build and just all these specifics. I feel like you limit yourself so hard because in our minds, I think there's the idea of some people that we think would be ideal for us. This is what I like. This is what I'm attracted to. Very rarely is that the person that you need or the person that will make you feel whole. So I think you really need to throw all that out the window, open your horizons, and just date a variety of people and give everybody a chance. As long as you find them attractive or there's something appealing about them to you, give them a chance.
Yeah, I think that's good advice because you're building your own walls when you're doing that. If you're looking down the barrel and if you're looking for someone and there's so many kind of restrictions, it's not easy to find anybody if it's like the world is wide open, and if you narrow it down, it becomes that much more difficult.
It's true. I always thought when I was, first sort of exploring with relationships and stuff that I had a type sort of, or I thought I did. But that wasn't real. And as I learned more about myself, I kind of realized, that's just an image of something that I'm kind of buying into.
Yeah, well, you know what I think that image is, at least for me, it's built from your fantasies. It's the things that you imagine when you're a child or when you're young or you're coming into your sexuality. You haven't had it yet, so you imagine what it could be. But then the reality, it could be very different.
The reality is you spend a lot of time with your partner beyond just having sex. And, when you click with somebody on a real connection, I don't think that compares to anything.
Yeah.
Like us, we laugh all the time. We tell stories. We're in a conversation. Mm-hmm. We always have fun together, no matter what we're doing.
This is too perfect. Normally, I have to kind of calculate a perfect segue, and you've just given it to me because my second piece of advice is exactly this. If your lover, if your significant other is your friend, I think you are way ahead of the pack in the love department. Mm-hmm. Beyond looks, money, sex, I think a friendship is what is at the heart of any great relationship.
I agree. I think that's good advice.
Yeah, you are gonna spend a lot of time with this person, and I look at people and their relationships, and relationships are unique. So to each their own. But sometimes I see friends or people we may have met that their relationship feels so different from ours in that the couple don't spend a lot of time together.
Right.
It's very limited and structured and just different. And that makes me feel bad a little bit because I think there's something kind of magical about having a wingman, like a co-pilot in your life.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's important. I think having friendship be a cornerstone of your relationship is super important. You got to get along with the person and like them and have similar interests. You don't have to have all similar interests, but you have to be able to connect on something. My second piece of advice is don't give up on each other. You know, it's hard to have a successful relationship in this day and age, but for me, the rule should be 1, don't date trash people. And what I mean by that is this ties into the, you know, not giving up on each other. You have to start with not picking trash people. And I got to tell people, you know if someone's bad. You pretend like you don't know, but you know in your gut. You need to learn to trust your gut. That guy's hot, but he's horrible
but
for
now
you.
listen, that's not to say that sometimes in life, the right person is the trash person, but not for a long-term relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, as far as hooking up, hook up with as many trash people as you want. Just protect yourself. But as far as a relationship, yeah, don't bring in someone that is garbage. And you can tell when someone is or not. And you know what? Some people are garbage. I don't care if someone gets offended by it. It's true.
It is
They're
true.
just lagging
It doesn't sound
behind
good, but it is
in
true.
emotional maturity, and it's not your problem. The second part is your relationship's only going to fail if you bail out. And I feel like the longer you stick together and support each other through good and bad and even worse times, I think the closer that you'll get. And I think even in our experience, like in my experience, the levels of closeness that we get to over the years, it changes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's you know, you think that, oh, I'm maxed out. This is good, and this is good as it's going to be, and then you get closer in a way. Yeah, so I think that's something that people should consider. You have to get through those hard times. You have to, because they test you and they might make you fight and all these things, but you learn how to work out problems together that way.
It almost seems old-fashioned, right?
Yes.
But it's not. I agree with you fully. I think in a world of instant satisfaction and social media, and where we compare everything, like it's pretty easy to say, "Oh God, I'm not happy with what I have right now, and I'm done." But there's no work, there's no struggle, there's nothing at stake. And when you do stay and you work it out, you grow. You grow with somebody else.
Yeah.
You're not looking for someone to just appear and be perfect. You have to make that perfect. It's like that Natalie Merchant song about. It's about choosing happiness.
Right.
You can look at life like it's miserable and pain, or you can look at life like it's a joy, and you have to choose that. You have to pick it and work at it.
Yeah.
Another great segue, because my third piece of advice is never, ever compare your relationship with anyone else's. It just leads to unhappiness. You know, people in their relationships are like 1,000% unique. And what works for me or works for someone else might not work for me. And something that I love about my relationship and that makes me so super happy might seem absolutely bizarre to everyone else. Mm-hmm. But they don't have to live your life.
Right.
That they're not in your relationship. They're not in your head. And what else really matters other than being happy? Mm-hmm. So if that leads you down a strange path with your partner who wants to live like some weird relationship life with you, weird because everyone else says it's weird, do that.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of people in this world left that are in like a happy relationship. I mean, that percentage of happily married couples is going like down and down and down and down. It is not easy. Like, relationships are work. So if you find something that works for you, definitely don't look at someone else's relationship and don't let them impart their opinions onto yours.
For sure.
You know, it works both ways.
People always have advice, you know, like us right now, and you just shouldn't listen to anybody except for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my last piece of advice is I have actually what did you call it? An honorable mention.
Oh,
I'm going to throw
I actually have one too.
I'm going to throw in my honorable mention now, which is don't be a disgusting pig, right? No matter how close you get to somebody, don't be fucking nasty. You need to just preserve some mystery with yourself. I think some people get real comfortable with each other, and I think it is such a mistake. This person's going to start to see you like their sibling or a ridiculous friend. I'm like, you know what I mean? Clean up, stay cute, and keep it together.
You are cracking me up right now because you are showing your ass.
Why? Why?
Look, I don't know what kind of mood I'm in tonight, but we're sharing a lot of opinions about stuff about our favorite couples and what we thought of this movie, and now relationship advice. And it probably works from you to me, just like from me to you. Your choices reflect what's important to you as a person. So your priorities and stuff. So to hear you say don't be nasty, keep it together, keep it cute.
Keep it together.
It's funny. It's just funny to me.
I always say that about Israel. I'm like, Israel is pleasant to be around. He's happy. He smells good. He's not disgusting, which a lot of those ogres are. And that's just a great way to be.
It's true. But some people are into that nasty stuff. And
that's fine. And that's a whole different thing. So that was my honorable mention. But my last piece of advice is this, and this is a super easy one. If you're going to be in a relationship with someone, you need to make their life better with you in it than if they were alone. And what I mean by this, do stuff for them, be supportive, be pleasant, make their lives easier, make them know that you are their cheerleader and you are their ride or die. Make it pleasant, because otherwise, what do they need you for? And hopefully they will do that in return for you in their own way. Yeah.
I think that's really good advice. It reminds me of something you and I said a long time ago to each other in so many words, which is we need to be on each other's team. You need a teammate, someone there to fight for you, help you, assist you, just root for you. And it's reciprocal.
I think especially as queer people, a lot of us didn't have unconditional love when we were young. And so I think it's important for your partner to offer you that. You need a safe space. You need to feel like this person has my back no matter what happens. They will be there for me. And I think everybody needs that.
I really need that too, Drax. So when are you going to give that to me?
Well, we're sort of biblically cursed together like Cain and Abel, and we'll just keep killing each other for all eternity. And that's just our story. So it's it's not the same for us.
Like Madeline and Helen, Cain and Abel. You're right.
Exactly. All right, everybody. That's all the time we have. I hope you enjoyed this episode with us. This is a reminder to send us your listener questions to email us your listener questions to creatures@bouletbrothersdragula.com. It's also a reminder to rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to the podcast. It's very important to do that. And a reminder to get your tour tickets to the Dragula 666 tour at dragulalive.com. We are leaving in about 2 or 3 weeks, so you better get your tickets while you can.
Come and see us, uglies.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Glamour and Swantula Boulet, along with co-host Ian DeVogler, with music by Neuron Spector.